Hello, Floss Tube. This is Cheeky Mare Stitches. Welcome back if you're returning, and thank you for joining if you're new. I'm Libby, or Cheeky Mare, whichever you prefer, and this is a channel about cross stitch, fun, and a little bit of quilting, but not this week, and potentially another craft because I am always picking up new hobbies, but I haven't taken the class yet, so we'll talk about that later. But sneak peek, maybe. All right, so first of all, I want to thank you to the new subscribers who have joined us in the past week, and I will talk about why that was here and at the end, because I've got an exciting new venture. But first, let's go down to business and do the giveaway from last week. And this is the giveaway. It is an Orenso Originals, and it is a bunny that is similar to my Lady and Unicorn, but it's by a different company. And so for those of you who entered the giveaway, here we go. So there's the video, and I'm filtering some stuff out, and the word was bunny, so let's start. And congratulations, Diane Iqbald. If I mispronounced your name, sorry about that. It says, I like that you change things in your stitching. I make a change in almost every pattern I stitch, although sometimes it is just a mistake. I feel you there. She's an 18 or 16 count Ada girl, which I'm, perfectly happy with. Whatever floats your boat. Happy stitching, bunny. All right, so Diane, you'll see my email here on the screen. You have one. Give me an email right here. Here's my email, cheekymare.stitches@outlook.com. If you send me an email with your address, I will send this chart out to you. So, all right, now that we've finished the business end, let's get on with the stitching. So, whips. I was focusing on one whip in particular, so I didn't get a whole lot of stitching done on my other whips, but it paid off. But first, let's do them in order. So the first one I worked on was Mermaid's Folly by Courtney Collection. This is what it'll look like when it's done. I'm doing it on a 56 count Golden Honey by Balbral Creations in a 1/2 with a silken color Asian plum. And it's so pretty. Here's where it was last time. Sorry, the color's a little diluted, but here's where it was last time. And I focused up in this corner trying to get a page finish. I didn't quite get there, but that's what it was. And here it is now. So as you can see, I got whatever this little seaweed bit is next to her face. And although it doesn't look like much stitching, that's because it's on 56 count fabric. It is quite a bit of stitching. It's actually only four lengths of floss though, which is nice. That's part of the reason why I like 56 count is you don't have to buy as much fabric, you don't have to buy as much floss, but you still get the beautiful picture. And she is beautiful. One of my Instagram followers decided to name her Glenda, and I think it's a good name. Glenda the Good Witch from Wizard of Oz. Even though she's a little bit more knicketer than Glenda. But that's okay. We won't hold it against her. All right. My next whip is called Blue Sampler from Permin of Copenhagen. Excuse me. I'll be linking all these down below. So if you are interested in this, I'm doing it on a 40 count mallow 1/2 with blackberry Weeks Dye Works. Here's where it was last time you saw it, which was like in January probably. And here it is now. So I've been doing, because I'm not a big border fan, I've been trying to do at least one. These are flowers, but I'm calling them blackberries because I like blackberries, and that's the color of the floss I'm using by Weeks. But, and it kind of looks like if you looked down at the bottom of a blackberry or at the top of a blackberry. So that's what I'm calling him. So I try to do at least one blackberry at a time to try and get, and I did 2. I finished 2 and started another when I did these. And I finished this deer and some of the grass. But it's so pretty. And I love this mallow. It has kind of an oatmeal feel, like an oatmeal Ada feel. But it's 40 count, so it's itty bitty stitches. And I love the very soft variegation of the Weeks dog hair, which is typical for my house. But it's just so pretty, so dainty. We need a name for this deer. One of the girls in my youth group that I help teach, she is really good at naming things. She like comes up with these just outlandish names right off the spot. I'm just like, I don't know. But comment down below if you think if you have a good name for him other than Bambi, because that was my first. That was my first name. Okay. So this is my next whip. I spent quite a bit of time on this one. And the picture you're going to see of where it was is only like where in the area where I stitched, because she's a big girl. She's like 3 feet by 2 feet. But it is Lady and Unicorn by Thea Governor, or Taya Governor. I've heard it both ways. On the 27 count Jobelan kit fabric, 1/2 with kit floss. Here's where it was last time. So I stitched around the unicorn in the mirror. The man in the mirror? No. And here it is now. So I got quite a bit of the mirror done. And I've been filling in the background around the unicorn as I go, because again, it's a lot of fill. And I know I said this last time, but the 1/2 with on the larger hole or the lower count fabric doesn't look terrible. It's just kind of a lacy feel. It's not, I mean, you can see the red through in that black area pretty extremely, but it just is a different look. So, you know, some people like chunky stitches and some people like dainty, you know, lacy stitches. And if you have a preference, that's fine. But I would encourage people to maybe try a different look and just know that it's a design choice instead of a bad thing. Because I've seen so many people like abandon their whips because they didn't like the coverage. Here's a picture of where the lady is. But abandoning your whips because they don't like exactly the way that it's covering or, you know, how it looks. And as long as you're consistent with it, that could just be a design choice. So, I mean, I understand abandoning your whips too, because I've abandoned one, but anyway, I'm just saying it doesn't have to look exactly like all of your other whips. Okay, so I did have a new start this month, and it's a small one, and it's in honor of Nina, who was my grandmother. My dad's mom passed away in late April. She was 96, almost 97, and she had a stroke, and she was just miserable. So I am quite sad, but she's in a better place now. But I did want to honor her. She was a avid reader. She read fiction mostly, but she read and read and read and read. I mean, she would go to the library and get 8 books and then go back the next week and get 8 more. That's what she did. And she also loved flowers. So in memory of my grandma Nina, I am going to do a new start called Orange Poppy by E.C. Chandcraft. She's an Etsy, I believe it's a she, an Etsy designer, and she has this beautiful bookmark piece, and it's supposed to be 1/1, but I'm doing it 1/2 on a higher count. So 40 count terracotta. And if you remember last month, I had a gift that I did on terracotta, and this is the leftover. It's 1/2. And the terracotta is by XJew Designs, and it's my own conversion. So I'm not a big fan of orange. I prefer more of a salmon-y orange, but poppies do come in purple. So what I did was I found a picture of a purple poppy and a picture of a purple poppy. Say that 10 times fast. I found a picture of a purple poppy on Google, and I put the picture in to a cross stitch converter, like a free cross stitch converter, and got the colors that I'm going to use from that. So like the DMC colors from that. So it is a small thing. And then the black work I'm doing with Color and Cotton Lava Stone, which is kind of a purpley black. So that's what it'll look like when it's done. And here it is now. So it's coming up a little browner than it is in real life. It's more of a salmon, like a burnt salmon color. It's more the color of what the floss is showing. But I started on the stem, and I'm using the called for the stem. And then if we go back to this, you can see that there's like a shadow. Well, that's not a trick of the light. That is part of the stitching. You just had to get a little bit darker color of whatever background or whatever fabric that you decided to do. So I'm using this terracotta, and it's blended a little more. Let's see if I can get a better. Nope. It's blended a little better in person. It doesn't, jump, it doesn't jump out at you as much in this particular, let's see. There we go. That's truer. It's still a little too yellow. That's truer. So see, it doesn't jump out quite as much. And then the lava rock looks black, like the black work is black, but it's kind of a purple black. Very pretty. Anyway, so that's in memory of my grandmother, and it'll probably be too big to be a bookmark. This is about halfway. So it's going to be a fairly large bookmark, but I have a very small place in my house, like between 2 doorways that I think that I walk by a dozen times a day. And so I'll put it between that little, I think it's like 11 inches maybe when I frame it. And it'll just remind me of my grandma. So I think I can get an exception for that new start. Or maybe I'm just using any excuse to get a new start. But my grandma was a wonderful woman. I have so many wonderful memories of her. So. All right. I have a finish. And that's why I don't have a lot of work on my whips, because finishes, yay. It's the Quaker Diamonds Rosewood Manor. It's on 36 count bittersweet 1/2 with a Weeks Dye Works conversion. And if you'd like the conversion, I will put it in the drop down box below. But this is where it was last time. And it's finished, but I wanted you to see just how much I finished because I was so proud. Because usually I get bored of something, but I had a motivation that I'll share with you in a minute. Okay, so there's where it was last time. You can see I didn't have this crown done. And I had this this motif done with these pinkish, it's a bad picture, I'm sorry, but with these pinkish. So here it is now in all its glory. So this is where it was. I didn't have this done, and I had this done. And I had just a little bit of this done. Okay, so now you can see it, and I will do full screen. It's done. Look at all that stitching I did. It's basically half the project. Basically half the project I did in 2 weeks, I think. So it's beautiful, and I love it. And I knew I had to finish it for 2 reasons. Because one was because I put in 2021. When I got to this motif, I put in 2021. So it's like, okay, I've locked myself in. I have to finish it. And the other reason is because it's a whip, and I'm doing whips only this year. I'm considering all 5 in this series to be whips, okay? To be one whip. And so the next one in the series is Spring Quaker. And the reason I finished this is because I'm going to do it with a Leo and Roxy conversion. And Caroline from Off the Grid, if you didn't know, Caroline from Off the Grid Needle Arts, that's her YouTube channel, and I'll link it down below. She's been selling these hand-dyed flosses from Leo and Roxy Yarn Co. And she showed the April collection, and I fell in love with it. I'm like, oh, it's so pretty, but what would I stitch it with? And I was flipping through the Quaker Diamond stuff, and I'm like, oh, Spring Quaker, it would so work. These would so work. So I contacted Caroline, and I'm like, what would you think about doing the Spring Quaker by Rosewood Manor in the Leo and Roxy flosses? And she said, I love that idea. And I have this, I have that chart. So I'll join you. So we are hosting a SAL. It's my first ever SAL. And it's going to be hashtag Leo and Roxy Spring Quaker SAL. And we haven't quite hashed out all of the colors yet, but I will definitely share that. And I'm sure she'll share that with you when we figured it out. And I don't have the flosses yet, but I do have the fabric that I'm going to use. So this is it. And I forgot the card that came with it, and it's showing a little gray right now. It's a very blue-green. But it is a 36 count fortnight fabric monthly that I got last year. And I usually do higher count fabrics, but I knew that I wanted to make all of these Rosewood Manors the same size. So 36 count it is. And I'm going to do it 1/2 with the Leo and Roxy flosses conversion to be announced, TBA. But it's going to be super pretty. And it will be in the same vein as the called for Valdani silks. The only difference is this orange is going to be a little bit more salmon colored, so a little pinkier than the kind of burnt orange that's in there. And the blue is a little lighter, and the two yellowy creams are a little darker based on what Caroline and I have discussed. But it's going to be so pretty. So pretty. I'm super excited. So I'm not a very good Instagram user, but I'm going to try and be better at that. So, but if you want to go ahead and join the hashtag, that would be wonderful. And I'm super excited. And go look, if you're not already a member, she's got like 10,000 subs. So I'm sure most of you are already members of Caroline Off the Grid Needle Arts YouTube channel. But if you aren't, go ahead and go and subscribe to her, because she does some wonderful videos, and she has a bunch of whips that she shows that are, and her work is just so beautiful. And she also makes project bags. So I don't own any of them, but they're beautiful. But I'm a sewer, so I feel like I would betray myself if I bought someone else's project bags. But I should make my own. I should make my own. But you know, I have a big bag that I needle pointed years ago, and then a friend of mine made the bag before I became a big sewer. So and then I've got an antique sewing table that just keeps all my whips in it. That was my Aunt Susie's. So, and it's beautiful. So I don't really use bags, but her bags are beautiful and you should go buy one. And I'm not being paid to say that. I've been tempted on many occasions to buy one of hers, but I just haven't bit the bullet. Maybe I'll buy one with my Leo and Roxy conversion for Rosewood Manor Quaker, Spring Quaker. But I'm super excited, and I finished Quaker Diamonds. So I'm just proceeding with the next pattern in the whip. I'm not doing a new start. Oh, the things we say to ourselves. Anyway, that is it for us, or for me, I guess. And I want to thank you again for subscribing to my channel. And if you like what you see, give me a like. If you have any questions, I'd happy to answer them out in the comments. I don't have very many comments yet, so I'm still able to keep up and reply to everyone. So, pretty good about that. Let's see what else. I think that's everything. But I'll probably have a video or later in the month. So I usually only film once a month. But I've been contemplating doing a series on how to do some decorative stitches. And also, when I get the Leo and Roxy floss, I will do a special video just for that and update you, because I know everyone's excited to see it. So anyway, I hope everyone has fun and makes good decisions and has a great day. Bye.